Alright, Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. It's all praises to the world called God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Also, I want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect preaching His word in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tarzabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona camp, well with another video to edify. And I'm watching the news, as the scriptures say. Let me get it, man. Good precept to get. Salakia. This is Matthew 26:41. It says, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Right? There's one more. Yeah, 1 Peter 4:7. It says, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer." Right? So, I've been listening to this dude, Jordan Peterson. He likes to make little snippets, and he goes into some history. He mentioned something about the Soviet era famine, right? And I watched a documentary about the Great Leap Forward with communist China or whatever. And both time frames, from 1919 with the Soviet era, basically what they did was they criminalized the well-to-do farmers, because basically those were the ones who actually had power to actually do anything in the land, right? So basically they criminalized the well-to-do farmers, and how they did it was they basically made a social outcry, to the poor, saying you're struggling because they keep living good. And it just reminds me of everything that's happening throughout the world right now, right? They're criminalizing, the middle class, basically the ones that are well-to-do off, saying they don't pay us enough. And it basically kills that class, right? Which in turn, when they, criminalize the middle class, it breaks down what these farmers and everything. And not only that, not only in the U.S., but all around the world, they're sitting there setting up legislation against farmers that are basically killing them, right? And this it's a roundabout way of what they did in the past, right? With Soviet Russia, what they did was they criminalized the farmers, turned the people against them, and then when the farmers were gone, nobody knew exactly how to cultivate the land. In communist China, what happened under, I think it's General Dow or something like that. I forgot what his name is, but Zhaoding or something like that. I forgot his name. But basically, they told them how to farm, what to farm, how much fertilizer. They told farmers that knew exactly how to do this. I'm gonna get a quick snippet because I already know where it's at, and it'll say it better in the video. But ultimately, this is the same stuff that's happening right now. They're telling these farmers in these other countries what fertilizers they can use and how much, and what's natural and what works. And it's basically causing crop yields to go down, and they're basically breaking the staff of bread. This is it's the video I watch. I recommend brothers watch this. It's good, man. It's a good little video to watch. Start at 21 minutes. Get as close to 20 seconds if possible. That ain't it. All right, listen to this.
Increase. In the people's communes, peasants had no right to free speech. Their skills weren't taken into consideration anymore. Everything was decided by the authorities, who mostly knew nothing about the subject. They decided everything. The distance between each rice seedling, the type of seed, the amount of fertilizer to be used. Land suitable for one type of crop was used for another. As a result, the peasants became totally demotivated, and poor harvests caused the first food shortages.
This is what's happening globally right now. This is why over there, this is why over there in Sri Lanka that the farmers are rioting. This is why in India farmers are rioting. Ireland, everywhere in the world, farmers are rioting because what they're putting legislation for this whole new green way and green living. They're putting legislation on these things that make no sense. It's driving down crop yields, which is increasing the famine and food shortages. And it's cold, man. It's cold. And all this goes in to the famine that's about to be throughout the world, because this is Esau's mindset. You see, this whole idea of the Great Reset, this is nothing new. Right? Let me get this, man. Because the leap forward, the Soviet communist era, when they were getting rid of the farmers and everything, that was a groundwork of a new reset, right? They wanted to change the way people thought, cause a collective idea, and that's what's being spread throughout the world, right? But it's not collectivism as far as making sure your people and your family is good. It's collectivism as far as making sure your country is this and that, and they're fucking misconstruing the people. So, and this is Esau's idea of his new world, right? This is Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, "The thing that had been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun." So this whole great reset is not new, right? The great leap forward was to take third world China into the new century, right? Soviet area, they were trying to sit here and make a large, great, grand production agency throughout the world. And now they're doing this whole thing now under the guise of climate control. Everybody gets the same, right? You got what, universal basic income. This is that whole same thing. So it's cold, man. Now I wanted to get a little excerpt from Wikipedia, based off this thing I heard. Basically in 1919, when they turned all the farmers against all the people, the poor, against the farmers that were well-to-do, making the well-to-do criminals, right? They killed them all off, and they no longer had anybody to produce grain. So they're shutting down farmers now. They're not going to have anybody to produce the goods they need, which exacerbates the famine. And at a certain point, they had to start printing posters that told the people it's morally wrong to eat another person. And I'm going to jump down on this. You can go on Wikipedia. It's Holodomor, and it means great famine or terror famine, right? And when you jump down on this in the history section, right, it says cannibalism. This is a letter written by a woman. Now it says this is a letter written by a woman to a friend during that time. It says survival was as normal. I'm gonna start up on this actually. It says local authorities had to submit reports about numbers of suffering from hunger, the reason for hunger, number of deaths from hunger, food aid provided from local sources, and centrally provided food aid required GPU managed parallel reporting and food assistance for the Ukraine SSR. Many regional reports and the most central summary reports are available from the present day central and regional Ukraine archives. Now, I'm going to just get into this one. It says evidence of widespread cannibalism was documented during the Holodomor. It says survival was a moral as well as physical struggle. It says a woman doctor wrote to a friend in June 1933 that she had not yet become a cannibal, but was not sure what I shall. It was not sure, but was not sure that I shall not be one by the time my letter reaches you. The good people died first. Those who refused to steal or to prostitute themselves died. Those who gave food to others died. Those who refused to eat corpses died. Those who refused to kill their fellow man died. Parents who resisted cannibalism died before their children. This is how real it's about to get. It says the Soviet regime printed posters declaring to eat your own children is a barbarian act. More than 2,500 people were convicted of cannibalism during the Holoderm. Now, it's way more than that. Way more. And this is about to come back on Earth again. This is about to come back on the Earth again. And Esau is manufacturing this stuff. Right? This Esau is manufacturing this stuff. When you go into that new bill that Biden introduced, they're putting restrictions on these farmers, these oil companies, production. Right? It's gonna hurt everybody, man. Throughout the world, they're doing this. Throughout the world. So what? The Lord said what? He was gonna break the whole stay. Isaiah 3:1, it says, Behold, Yahweh of hosts. Behold, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, to take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole staff of water. Right? And this is happening globally. It's not happening to us because what? The Lord said what? You get it. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. It says, Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. You see? And that curse, part of that curse was what? Eating your children in a siege, in a famine. Right? We just read a portion of it. Right? The moral battle was whether or not you were gonna prostitute yourself, kill yourself, eat a corpse, eat somebody who died. Right? There's another excerpt from that video. Let me get this. This is at 43 minutes and 5 seconds. Listen to what she says. Listen to what this dude says, man. That lived through it.
As fertilizer on the fields.
Oh, I gotta let you hear this.
They've been opened. There are no bodies inside. So he wonders what is going on.
He's basically saying they went and checked the graves where there were supposed to be mass graves of people that starved and died. Listen to what he says.
It's a rainy day. He sees the house of the local party secretary. The smoke coming out. He walks up to the house, opens the door. He sees 4 large pots in which body parts are being boiled down. And it turns out that the local party secretary has decided that you can actually recycle human bodies, simmer them, and then use it as fertilizer on the fields.
During the Great Famine, thousands of cases of cannibalism were recorded in official reports. There are plenty in the archives.
Now remember, the scriptures tell you, the day coming where he shall be like unto me. I gotta become, let me get it. Here it is, Isaiah 14 and 8. It says, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art cut down, no fellow is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Right? Not only militarily, but America as a whole is going to start suffering the things that these other countries have suffered in grand scale, man. Right?
I know of one case in Gansu where people ate their own dead relatives. The mother, before she died, said to her daughter, "There's nothing left of my body to eat, just my heart. When I die, you can eat my heart." And that's what happened. When she died, her daughter ate her heart. But she, in turn, was eaten a few days later.
You see? You know, this stuff is about to happen. Let me get this. This is Isaiah 9 and 19. It says, through the wrath of Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as fuel for the fire. No man shall spare his brother. It says, he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. Manasseh, Ephraim, and Ephraim, Manasseh, they together shall be against Judah, for all his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. You see? Famine, right? The mother shall eat their children. Let me get this. This is, where is it at? I think Sodom. Yeah, here it is. Lamentation 4:10. It says, the hands of the pitiful woman have sodden their children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughters of my people. It's how real the Lord gets, man. You know? It's how real it's gonna get, and it's terrifying, man. It's when I watch this, man, it's like, damn. And you see little bits of this thing happening, the whole thing that I come about with Russia, Soviet Russia, how they basically quality. Look, this is what it is. It says these are causes for what the famine came, but it says overexertion of sown era, crop yields were reduced, and likely some plant diseases caused by planting of future harvests across a wide area of land without rejuvenating soil, leading to the reduction of fallow land. Right now, they're sitting there saying topsoil all throughout America and throughout the world is down. They didn't let any land sabbaths happen. They just, GMO'd the crops to try to make them build bigger and grow faster. It says decline in drought power. It says the overexertion of grain yield to the loss of food for farm animals, which in turn reduced the effectiveness of agriculture operations. Right, because they were using cattle to pull their equipment. But not only that, now you have the same thing, right? Drought killing the amount of food that's out there, where corn prices are shooting through the roof, so they're culling whole herds, which reduces food supply. Quality of cultivation, the planting and extracting of the harvest, along with plowing, was done in a poor manner due to inexperienced and demoralized workers, and the aforementioned lack of drop power, right? So Basically, it demoralized farmers that can't get by. They can't get the subsidies they need. So what? They're selling their land. They're no longer doing any farming. This is happening now. The poor weather, drought, and other poor weather conditions are largely ignored by Soviet authorities who gambled on good weather and believed agricultural difficulties would be overcome. Right? Optimism. Right? And they're doing the same thing now and loading it to the people, and through peace and safety, destruction came. Right? But this is what's happening. Cannibalism is about to come back in a major, major way. Right? Scriptures tell you those that perish through the sword are better than those that die in the famine, for these pine away for want of the fruits of the field. Right? Lord willing to edify them. Shalom.